The new Logan trailer puts X-23 front and center. Violent clone babies grow up so fast. Stay tuned, it's Screen Junkies News. Well, Bubs and Bubettes, we have got the final trailer for the promised character study Logan in theaters March 3rd. And to help me, Hector Navarro, break it down, we have got from Cinema Blend Mr. Eric Eisenberg, whose birthday it is today.
Yay!
Happy birthday, Eric.
Turning 30.
Just turned 30.
Yeah.
And whose birthday was 2 weeks ago. And from literally everything else here on Screen Junkies, Mr. Dan Merle. Dan,
Hello,
what's up?
how are you?
Happy belated.
Thank you.
Great, fantastic. Guys, let's just get into this trailer. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
I like the Jim Croce. That's a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
little with Days of Future Past.
Jim Croce.
Quicksilver.
Yeah. Let's
Speaking
pause
of
right here.
Quicksilver,
Yeah.
that's not Quicksilver.
Right. No, yeah, that's right. This actor is, let me see if I can grab the guy's name, but we
So
looked
Dave
it up.
Davis.
Dave Davis,
Davis.
thank you, Eric. This is a guy who obviously looks a little bit Aaron Taylor Johnson-y, right?
He's got the Quicksilver
He's got
highlights,
the
yeah.
Quicksilver highlights, and I think every comic fan spotted that and was like, is that Quick? No,
I thought they dropped a multiverse on this in the beginning of the Logan trailer.
Fox beat Marvel to it. They're going full multiverse, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
But Dan, talk about that song for a second. We've got some lyrics for that song, that Jim Croce song.
Well, yeah, it's called I Got a Name, which
Yeah.
is, this is the movie that gives Wolverine a name.
name,
It's named Logan.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of sets the tone, and also I think it is kind of a cute little wink and a nod back at the lore of the X-Men
Absolutely.
movies, as it were.
Absolutely. Now-
It's much lore.
Up to this point, the character that this young actress is playing, Daphne, what's her name? Daphne something.
Keane.
Thank you.
Daphne Keane,
Hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
We just know that it was Laura, I believe, which every comic book fan's like, well, then that's Laura Kinney. It's X-23.
Exactly,
We know
it
where
is.
this is going. We know what this is. But the lyrics for the song says, I got a name, and I carry it with me like my daddy did. The clone of Wolverine. But I'm living the dream that he kept hid. And Wolverine in this story, just like Old Man Logan, the comic book that it takes inspiration from, has been hiding the fact that he's a mutant, hiding the fact that he's Wolverine, this very powerful character, for all of these different years. So I love this. But again, up to this point in the trailer, not confirmed that it's X-23 yet. Just wait for it. Here we go. Let's hop back in.
Hello. You know you gotta pay for that, right?
Sorry, so great.
Come on.
Right here, when she does this,
Yep. It's as soon as the fist goes
for
back.
me, I'm like, that's my
That's a
confirmation.
Wolverine.
that's X-23 for me,
Yeah.
but still not yet. And
okay.
Logan's got some great parenting there. Not okay.
Yeah,
Grab
good
some
dad.
cigars.
You're seeing
and
that
throw
we're
them.
in
I heart
Texas now?
Texas.
Yeah.
I heard Texas. So we're in Texas, and he likes cigars. That's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, sure.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Now pause right there.
Okay,
He's
now this is
holding up
cool.
Love that,
comics.
yes.
I love the fact that the X-Men have been mythologized, and really, when you think about it, they would be.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, especially because this is set in the future. As we discovered in X-Men Apocalypse, after Days of Future Past, the mutants are really known to the world. It makes sense that pop culture would kind of start formulating stories about the X-Men, and in comic book form, it's all the more perfect.
Well, and I think it also confirms that this is a movie that's taking place in the new
Yes,
timeline,
absolutely.
because the original X-Men timeline, they were very much
They're in the dark,
under
they're secret,
wraps,
yeah.
and in this new timeline that's been established, starting with Days of Future Past, mutants are very much out in the light. They are known. They
Yeah.
are recognized, and you would do that. It's kind of like what the
Yeah.
Avengers movies did with the Avengers, where
Exactly,
you see the
yeah.
merchandise. Is if you do have superheroes, of course they're going to
They're
be
gonna celebrate
mythologized.
superheroes.
Celebrate
Absolutely,
superheroes.
yeah.
And I think that what the story's doing, they could have very easily, if Days of Future Past never happened, if the last Wolverine movie was just the Wolverine set in Japan, and the last X-Men movie before that was The Last Stand, which came out in 2006, right? If that's the last proper X-Men modern day story, I still think that this movie would have found a way to just tell us, oh, in the time since then, in the 10 years since then, they've been mythologized and blah, 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 blah. Laura's got some comics and blah, 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 blah. But it is very easy to just knock it over to the timeline of Days of Future Past
absolutely.
and to just kind of fill in some of that continuity. A thing that Fox is known for doing. Let's jump back into this. Well, real quick, that comic book cover was 117. We had our Eagle Eye crew spot that 117. Here's the real Uncanny X-Men cover of 117. That's Shadow King right there, I believe.
Oh,
and
yes.
it says Marvel Comics Group.
Yeah.
Marvel Comics Group at the top.
it's
And
an
this
X-Men
fake cover
Comics Group,
says X-Men Comics Group.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the rights, you guys.
Not
They
mine.
can't.
Yeah.
Which is great. And also Sauron, the great pterodactyl man.
Yes.
Real
Yes.
name Carl Lycos is on the cover there. Is
The
the villain.
Savage Land.
Which kind of tells movie fans, hey, you're never going to see him in a movie because he's too goofy. But
Really
But here's a
goofy.
little
hints.
Easter
Yeah,
egg
little
for you.
taste.
Sure.
Also has the same name as the Lord of the Rings villain. Very
Exactly.
confusing.
Yeah, that'll
Exactly.
be it.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
great.
Let's hop back into the
Ourselves an
trailer.
X-Men fan.
Another
Maybe
cover
a quarter of
with
it.
oh, we got to look at this. That we finally get, again, it's a nod to the fans, but it's also a little bit of a, hey, F you guys, this is too silly. You're never getting a blue and yellow Wolverine costume, but here you go.
It is like it very much is telling about the tone of this film, because at the end, especially of X-Men Apocalypse, and we had Deadpool, you have them starting to embrace those costumes,
totally.
absolutely, and which I thought was great. So this movie is clear, and honestly, I'd love to see Hugh Jackman dressed, especially that this is his last film.
For sure.
I want to see him in either the blue and yellow or the brown and yellow. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting that, and that scene.
But that's also kind of okay.
Yeah.
The way that the Wolverine character in these movies has been treated and how his storyline has progressed, it makes sense that he's not just going to put on a gaudy yellow costume.
Right.
If it's the 90s, if it's the 80s and 90s, and there's young kids and they're being led by Mystique or whatever, sure. Fine.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to be honest. I would still kind of flip my lid at the end of this movie.
come on.
If he digs up a suitcase in the forest and breaks out like
there was that
a
deleted
brown
scene.
and black, combat suit.
Sure.
And
The deleted scene at the end of the Wolverine that James Mangold actually put in, where he opens the
It's
suitcase
so
and you're
great.
just like, please.
It's worth it to buy the DVD just for that deleted scene. It's
true.
so fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's hop back in.
What happened?
Talking, interacting with
this.
Rogue, the character of
Yeah.
Rogue there. Costumes that I think are not traditional sort of X-Men costume, but a
You
variation
saw
on
Storm with the mohawk over.
it. Storm with the
side.
mohawk was in there,
In the real world, people die.
wiping his claws.
I don't want to talk about
Now
it.
let's pause here. Let's talk about this. We have gathered. Eric, talk about this. You were in New York.
I wasn't in New York, but one of my colleagues was
Okay.
at Cinema Blend, and one of the things that we learned is that Logan in this future, he isn't. It's actually very different than Wolverine, where he was living in the forest. He's actually a limo driver now, and this is apparently their prime mode of transport. And it seems that going by this footage, it looks like that limo has seen some serious
some action.
trouble.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you got the broken window. If you look closer, you can kind of see a bullet hole in his back right there.
Logan's back.
So this has not been going super swell as a road trip.
and we know from the first trailer that it would appear at least that his healing factor is still active, but maybe not quite as
slowed down, sure.
as great as it used to be. So
That's exciting. You gotta humanize these characters,
Add
weaken them
stakes, sure.
a little bit,
Yeah.
add stakes. Yeah. So let's hop back in.
Just stop. Be careful.
Great
I
Patrick
need the
Stewart.
girl. What
So
girl?
here we've got actor
Holbrook.
Boyd Holbrook playing Donald Pierce, who, if people aren't familiar with him, he's a not super high-profile X-Men villain, but he's still there. He's still around. He's been around for a while, and he's a cyborg. Correct? He's got in the comic books he's full on all the way cyborg. He
Yeah.
barely has like his brain left in there. But it looks like in the film we've got a robotic arm, maybe a robotic tooth. He's got a gold tooth,
Yeah,
probably
gold
not.
tooth is awesome.
And we don't know what other robotic appendages. But tell us a little bit about this character in the comics. You said he was a Reaver. Is
He's
that
a
right?
Reaver, which is essentially, I mean, it's like a futuristic gang where they have cybernetic parts, and honestly, it's the entire group that he's surrounded himself
Yeah.
with. If you just look as we'll watch the trailer continue, you will see that these guys aren't entirely human. They're a bit built up, and could pose some serious threats. And it certainly looks like they are the people who are hunting Laura Kinney, aka X-23, and
Well, and I think if you look back there, he's not pulling that gun on Logan, because if you look back in that, I
Yeah.
don't think that's Logan back there. So
That's a good
he's
call.
pulling
Yeah.
that gun on somebody else.
Somebody else. That somebody is this next character right here. My favorite part of the trailer. Let's hop back in. Yeah, he shoots, knocks him down. Keep. There's the Reavers right there. The rest of the Reavers.
and he's sending him in to go see X-23.
We couldn't find the actor playing this big Brock Lesnar looking guy.
He's
but a nameless Reaver.
Let's call him. What's his name?
It's a villain red shirt. Let's just call a spade.
Michael
a spade.
Rookerish.
Yeah,
Michael
okay, sure.
Rookerish. Yeah, little Yondu, but he is a
Little
villain
Mohawk,
red
yeah.
shirt. He's going
Yondish.
to die. He's gonna die. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward with the trailer. Having to go and collect Laura. She likes cornflakes. Great.
Great product placement.
Nice scream.
Good job, Keller.
I feel like we should be
my-
quiet during this.
I agree. Favorite moment.
No. No.
Right there. I mean,
No.
that delivery. But obviously this character has a history with Laura.
Familiarity is
familiarity.
like, he knows exactly what's about to happen as soon as those claws come out. And
there's
those
a-
claws, man,
It's awesome. It's X-23. It's happening. She's got the claws popped out. We've got all these guys pulling guns on her. They know what's about to go down. This is a very parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
This is such a beautiful moment for me. The confirmation that this character is in this film, that the focus of this film is going to be on this character. It is the next generation of X-Men characters, or it's the end of Logan's story. All of it coming in, wrapping into one. I just love this moment so much. And that actor's delivery, man. Boy, knocked it out of the park with that. No.
because you feel the fear,
Great.
man. He knows exactly
Great.
what's coming.
The fear and the anger and the frustration is fantastic. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and hop back in. Move forward.
No. No.
Thank you for playing that again, Joel. That's great. Boom!
Boys.
Slice and dice.
Snicked.
There we go.
Right, there you go.
Patrick Stewart, of course, is Charles Xavier. He's
Nice bit of
90.
blood reminding us that we are very much in an
Red
R-rated
trailer,
movie.
yeah.
Yes.
Fuck.
And
Red
that.
Band, baby. Yes. Come on.
Again with the limo. Where against-
T-1000
absolutely.
action there.
That's true.
Absolutely, yeah. It's awesome. We got the chains on our hands here. She cuts off a robot arm. Now, I believe that people are already making the prediction. Laura was the person who cut Donald Pierce's arm off in the beginning. That's why he's got a robot arm. That's part of their relationship.
Darth Vader.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, right here, we've got Donald Pierce. He has got a lot of resources at his disposal. They're in the American Southwest, and
Yeah,
now
we
we're
got this
introduced to
guy.
this
Is
character.
Is this Richard E.
Richard E.
Grant?
Grant,
Yeah.
yes.
Richard E.
So
Grant.
there was speculation, of course, based on his look, that he was Mr. Sinister.
And honestly, he would have been an amazing
He
Mr.
would have been a
Sinister. Can we
great
have
Mr.
this discussion?
Sinister.
But as it turns out, he's Dr. Xander Price, who has his own set of comic book origins. He is actually the son of one of the scientists from the original Weapon X program who created Wolverine. He has a bit of a chip on his shoulder against Wolverine as a result of this, and very clearly going to be involved in the origins of X-23 as well, and working with Pierce and clearly hunting them.
And
So,
maybe
yeah.
the Essex Corporation, maybe that that's where
Yeah.
Nathaniel Essex can come in if he is indeed in the film.
Right, from that post-credit scene.
From that post-credit scene in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yep.
So this character, his father was killed in the original Weapon X program, 60s, 70s, whenever it was that it took place. Do you think that they're going to tie that in with X-Men Origins Wolverine
Well,
when we saw the flashbacks of that happening?
Well, here's what I'm thinking they might tie it in with, because there was some blood spilled in the X-Men origin story that we know, but there was much blood spilled in X-Men Apocalypse.
Ah.
And I'm if they wanna point back to a massacre, as useless as I think that scene was in that particular movie,
it may be helpful for this
It could be
one.
helpful for
Yes,
this
it
one.
is. Sure,
Exactly.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe his father was killed by Logan in that Berserker Rage, and that's what led him to in this far-flung future of 2029. He's an older man, and he's been working on the cloning of Wolverine. And his comic book appearances is he first appeared in X-23 issue number 1. So he was right there from the beginning, and he's a real bastard. So that's great. All right, let's go ahead and move forward with the trailer.
Someone will come along.
Someone has come along.
Now, this is a massive moment for me. This looks like a sonic weapon or some sort of psychic.
Big psychic event, yeah.
It's a big psychic event, but it's Wolverine popping his claws. And I have a prediction that this is going to be the same as in the comic book Old Man Logan, the first time Wolverine pops his claws in this story. That whole story, if you haven't read the comic Old Man Logan, go read it. It's brilliant. Is about Wolverine rejecting the notion that he's Wolverine. And he says, call me Logan, call me Logan. I'm not going to do this anymore. I had a horrible history. I had a horrible past. I'm not going to pop my claws and never again. I haven't done it in years, decades. And it got to a point in the story where he had to do it, and he said, my name's Wolverine, it's Wolverine. And I think that that's going to happen in this film. I think that the movie is not going to use this opportunity because it's a great storytelling opportunity. I think something's going to happen. You think something with Charles is happening that's causing him to have to pop his claws?
It's part of it.
Laura?
As the trailer continues to roll, we do see some other shots from this sequence. One is kind of Laura kind of crawling across the floor, dealing with the
this
same kind
energy,
of waves.
yeah.
But the part of that is that you also see Professor Xavier from behind, and he seems to kind of be the source of that radiating psionic whatever.
Could be.
So I think,
or the target.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever the case. But another thing I got to mention is the coat that Logan's wearing right here. This classic brown coat. This again is the iconic silhouetted outfit from Old Man Logan, minus the hat, sans the hat. But it's very Clint Eastwood. It's very Dark Tower, and for me, it's a pivotal thing in the trailer. This is the only time I'm seeing this coat.
Yeah.
So I'm really thinking that this is a callback to Old Man Logan, and he looks awesome.
Yeah.
He looks great.
That's super cool.
Let's keep moving forward with the trailer.
This is what life looks like.
Yeah, there he is with his suit.
Back in the limo driver's suit.
He's a limo driver suit. And again, not popping his
People
claws up
love
to this
each
point.
other.
Let's move back a little bit. I want
Family
to
dinner
talk
there.
about this
Eric
actor who was at the table. Guys, let's talk about this. I don't think this is a credited role yet. Right?
We don't know his name, but that is Eric LaSalle of ER fame. It's kind of, it doesn't look like they're in any kind of like ramshackle house or something. It looks like kind of like a home. Certainly, they look like they're bonding. My guess is that this is some kind of stop along the way of their road trip as they're kind of running away from.
Do you think that there's a possibility that Eric is playing a X-Men character, a mutant?
I would doubt that.
Okay.
It seems like mutants have kind of gone underground.
Yeah, and especially in the first trailer, you kind of hear that.
The first trailer, you kind of hear it, and I
yeah.
would imagine that there's probably either still a resurgent fear or persecution. Obviously, they're after these guys for some reason.
Right.
You know, and I like the idea of the human resistance in a way, and
Sure.
that's kind of always on these on the run stories. Is you always have the friendly, you know, person who will take you in for a night. And
Absolutely.
usually doesn't end up too well for that person, but who knows? Hopefully, in this movie,
Break the rules,
that could be different.
And if any mutant character could find human allies like that, it's Charles Xavier. He's always worked with humanity and human people and fallen in love with them and all that great stuff. So let's go ahead and keep moving forward.
People who love each other.
Talk about love. Guys, this trailer made me think about my death, you guys. Like, it's so sad.
That
These are the
scene.
shots.
Which I will say, I've heard rumors. I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but I have heard that Xavier doesn't have full, like he's older. He doesn't have full control of his powers as much anymore. Which you know, obviously, like that could very much well explain what's kind of going on with those psychic waves. But also, I mean, could it possibly be the reason why there are no more mutants?
Absolutely. Yeah.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
You
it
never
could-
know.
Oh, that would be awful if somebody manipulated him to use Cerebro to just take them all out, but Logan
Which, I mean,
survived.
and if you look at like the Old Man Logan story, where you have
Yeah.
Logan confused by Mysterio and winding up killing all the X-Men by himself.
Ooh. Man, if they did that, that'd be
Right?
awesome. Oh, man, I'm so pumped. All right, let's keep moving forward with this trailer.
Feel it.
Now this is what Wolverine fans really, not just a Berserker rage,
Still have time.
R-rated.
Great shot. Bloody knuckles after a fight. You're in a truck. And another great
2
moment. Red
days
band.
on the road, only one meal and hardly any sleep. She's 11, I'm fucking 90.
Yes, Patrick Stewart. Thank you for
Patrick Stewart
cussing a
dropping the
lot.
F-bomb, right?
Right there. So, guys, that's the trailer. That is the
Yep.
final Logan trailer. Let's talk about overall impressions from that trailer.
I'm beyond pumped for this.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I don't
Come
know
on.
how you could not be. I mean, this is his last hurrah. It's finally an R-rated Wolverine movie. We've, in many ways, been waiting for this for a long time because, I mean, X-Men Origins was such garbage. It was such a terrible way to kind of treat the character. And
Yeah.
it finally, like, this is the legit Wolverine movie.
And the Wolverine
I'm
was
so excited.
very close.
Yes, it was so close.
It had moments of
It had
just
moments,
brilliance. It had moments.
Honestly, what its kind of problem is part of it was the ending with the Silver Samurai.
It fell
didn't
off the
really
cliff,
work. It
yeah.
fell off a cliff, and it's
Literally.
because it wasn't as grounded. It didn't kind of keep
Yeah.
the same tonal reality. This one seems like it is kind of managing that, and that's very, very exciting.
Question for you, Dan. Do you think that this is going to beat the third movie curse? Every bad movie in the X-Men franchise happens to be the third one, it seems like. We've got The Last Stand,
The
Apocalypse.
difference is that it was the opposite. The
Yeah.
first two movies were good, and the third movie was terrible.
And this
time, the first two
inversed.
movies maybe not so great. Maybe this is the great
This is the
Wolverine
great
one.
one.
The
Yeah.
great Wolverine movie.
Who knows?
I like it.
Guys, we have a very special guest over on the social media cam, the boss of it all, Roth Cornett. Roth, first of all, what did you think about this trailer?
I spent the entire time watching it going, yes, yes, yes. And then I stopped it about 3 times going, I don't know that I should watch this because A, it's taking me to a place that's not going to allow me to work for the rest of the day. And 2, I can only be disappointed when I see the movie.
But you're
Well, it's
happy
also only
today,
a month
right?
and a half. Month and a half.
Huh?
But you're happy today?
I'm so happy today.
That it was worth it. And it's a month and a half
Happy
away.
birthday,
Yeah.
by the way. All right,
Yeah.
my good friend.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot we haven't been seeing also in this
Sure.
trailer.
Yeah.
Because, for example, we have not seen Stephen Merchant.
Yeah,
As
in
Howard is.
any
Howard's
trailer,
true.
and it seemed like we've seen parts of about 4 different scenes, but that's about it. In
Right.
both of these trailers, I think this movie's got a lot
That bodes
left
well.
to surprise us.
That bodes well. So, Roth, now that we know what you think, what does the internet think?
So the internet is loving the trailer. Stephen Sheehy says, Logan looks like Hell or High Water starring Wolverine. Please let it send off Hugh Jackman. Let this be the send-off that Hugh Jackman deserves. I think
Yeah.
that's what everybody
Yeah,
really
like-
wants out of this movie, besides a great film. And if there's a passing of the mantle, what better way to do it to this like feral girl who
Yeah.
can't
Sure.
control her powers?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Hugh Jackman really, he deserves as much credit as Robert Downey Jr. gets for the MCU, and I mean he has
a lot of ways, even
really, whether the movie's good, whether the movie's bad, Hugh Jackman has never been bad in any of
And
them.
he's defined the role for so many people, yeah.
Nobody thought he could do it. He didn't have the right look. He didn't have nobody knew who he was, and he really owned this.
Well, it's even still weird going back to like the 2000 X-Men where he has that crappy wig and he
Yeah.
looks like it clearly did not work out enough for what this role
Right.
provided. But yeah, and
he
that
had to do
usually
it
signed
last
on.
minute,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Signed on two weeks before the start of production. But yeah,
I think the highest praise I can give Hugh Jackman is that he has replaced the voice actor from the 90s cartoon show in my head when I read X-Men
Yeah, the
comics.
voice,
You know what I'm saying?
sure.
I
Yeah.
can now hear Hugh Jackman acting whenever I read a comic book that features Wolverine. So, so there
We
you go,
did
buddy.
ask a really quick question that I then want to turn around and ask you guys. We've
Yeah.
already talked about it a little bit, which is what happened to the rest of the mutants. And so that's obviously the big question. Like you guys, some people think that Mikey Solo thinks that they were finally successful in using Professor X to kill them all using Cerebro. He's older. What if he has Alzheimer's? I feel like there's a lot of different possibility. Also, David notes, like you did, that Logan accidentally kills him in the comic, but maybe instead Mysterio is behind it.
They don't have rights to Mysterio.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't have the rights. So maybe the government finally killed them all off? I don't think so. It does seem like there is some, I'm not feeling that.
I feel like to trigger something that kills all mutants specifically, like that's
it's
not
gotta
easy.
be Professor X.
Well,
I feel like it is.
I don't know. I feel like this feels like kind of a grounded movie, and this looks like not really a post-apocalyptic world. And wouldn't it be, again, tragic? And we're far into the future, but wouldn't it be tragic if there was something in a mutation that yes, you manifest these powers, but also
You die at like age 50.
something? Yeah, I mean,
That's
something
interesting
that
thought,
there's
yeah.
something that I mean, it is a genetic mutation.
I think I've gotten hints of Children of Men from the very first trailer. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a possibility that there's just no new mutants being born.
That's really
and
interesting.
and those other classic mutant characters, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, all the ones that were left alive at the end of the Days of Future Past, future
Alternates,
thing.
yeah.
We're way in the future.
We're way in the future. Logan lives longer, but you know, with Professor X being 90, it's only 2029. They should be alive. What happened? Did they all die in a battle? Did they all them get targeted and get killed? And there's just no new mutants being born? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's a good question. I think it's going to play out, from what we've seen in the trailer, I think that's going to play out in a really interesting way and hopefully a surprising way. I like what you guys are saying right here.
Yeah.
Charlie Feldman, by the way, will be back with us. She's busily working on our next story that we will be bringing you soon.
Absolutely, yeah, guys. So, do we want to continue asking the internet that same question, Ralph? Do we want to get some more fan theories as to what happened to the rest of the X-Men?
I mean, the fan theories are pretty much the ones that we've already said, and
Okay,
a lot
great.
of this is just about how excited people are and that they need a box of tissues after watching this. For
Because
what-
they're crying.
Which direction is that going?
For
Yeah.
what you need the tissues for, I will let your imagination do the work.
Okay, and it's gross. So great.
Yep,
All right,
disgusting.
that's where my imagination
Nice.
went.
Great way to go.
So, guys, big thanks to Eric Eisenberg from Cinema Blend, to Dan Merle for being here, and Ralph Cornett for helping us out on the Twitters. Guys, we want to know what you think. So, comment below. How stoked are you for this trailer? Is there something that you're still feeling trepidatious about that you're seeing in the trailer? Something that you think, I don't know, it still might be bad. It's the third movie in a franchise, or it's Fox, or whatever. Just let us know below. And also, guys, if you've got advice for how to survive in your 30s, Eric just entered it. Go ahead and comment below. We'd love to hear what you think. What can he expect in being in his 30s? You can always find new videos every single day. Click on these things right here to find a bunch of new stuff, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.